Hello, Happy New Year, and
Woo!
welcome back to Association Transformation 2022. We are here, we are back, we are excited
Yay!
for the new year. Woo!
Oh, are you nursing your hangover there? You're nursing your 2021 hangover.
Yeah, it was a year. It was a year that punched you in the gut a little bit. I'll admit, not the year I think any of us had hoped for, but I don't know, leading into 2021 after 2020, I think we were all optimistic. Now, I don't know, we all just feel weathered and beaten down.
Yeah. I'm just gonna hide under my desk until till I know what the weather looks like, as it were. Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
we've been off for a few weeks. I mean, between the holiday, you got the COVID. We
honestly, it's been mad. I mean, we've had since we last put out a pod. We've had Halloween, we've had Thanksgiving, we've had Hanukkah, we've had my birthday, we've had Christmas, New Year. Yeah, I had the COVID as well. It's like it's just been party, party, party. So we haven't had time to record any podcasts.
I know. So good. It's a good fresh start. The new
Yep.
year. This is the beginning of season 3 for Association Transformation, our no longer new conversation that I think does push the envelope and has the conversations that not many others are willing to have, with some great guests and some of the new leaders really in
Yep.
the nonprofit and association space. We will continue to journey and seek the diversity of thought and innovative perspectives that are out there and that will help keep us at the forefront of association management and association advancement. So association transformation really is stronger than ever and has weathered all of this. And we're excited to begin season 3.
Do you know, as you were talking, I was sitting there thinking, wow, it's 2020, 2021, now it's 2022. I have still never met you face to
We
face.
had never met in person. Yeah,
It's mad.
COVID stole that from us. We
Yeah,
are a
yeah,
perfect example of a remote work and virtual collaboration
yeah.
that has gone from spring of 2020 now to the winter of 2022, and here we are. I don't know. Maybe we should never do. Maybe we never should. Maybe it would like change something. Maybe we need to keep our magic just like this.
Oh my God, are you dumping me on live podcasting? Is that what's happening? Are you breaking up with me? Is that what's happening right
It's
now?
not you, it's me. Let's just stay long distance friends.
Yeah, let's just be long distance friends. Yeah.
Oh, good. No, it's 49 episodes. I mean, if I was going to break up with you, I would have done it probably at like 30 or 31.
Yeah. All my wives say that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But let's not forget how I won't say great, but how positive and impactful 2021 was.
Do
We
you know
did
what?
some really
Yeah,
good things in 2021.
we did actually. It was a pretty pretty productive year. I mean, don't get
It
me wrong.
was.
I'm excited about 2022 because it's not 2021. But
Yes.
I think, all in, when you look at what we put out the door last year, 40 episodes of the podcast, at least
Yeah.
that. But the other work that we put out there, I mean, this is
Right. We had some exciting opportunities. I mean, we spoke to the ASAE annual meeting to roaring applause and
roaring applause.
positive positive crowd response.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that got shifted to virtual. We
Yeah.
did get to speak and present to the African Society of Association Executives.
Yeah.
That was a special honor and very exciting. And we published in a couple of different places. And I thought last year was, I don't know if it was the perfect storm of thought leadership. After 2020, people were pretty rattled, not knowing what's going on, not knowing what's going to happen to their organizations. In 2021, I felt like people were seeking answers, whether out of desperation
Mm-hmm.
or out of recognizing the opportunity that all of this disruption was presenting them.
Do you think it's because people had time to look for
No,
answers?
I think it's because they had the necessity. They were scared, they were desperate, things were shifting under their feet, and they needed answers, they needed perspective, they needed strategy, they needed solutions. And in some cases, people had to look outside of themselves, look outside of their staff, look outside of their boards. And in a lot of ways, we got to be there for some pretty pretty important clients and put those thoughts to paper, both with the IAL through the 2022 Almanac that just came out last month, and some other industry publications that featured our articles. Anyway, it was just, I'm proud of all that we put out in 2021. I like to think that we helped a lot of organizations and a lot of executives survive the year. And 2022 is hopefully going to be the refinement of that, really helping people take those ideas and put them into practice. Because talking about stuff and talking about doing things differently is one thing, but it's a big leap to then help people implement and adopt and live that change or live that transformation.
So before we talk about 2022, because I am champing at the bit to
get out of 2021,
to have left. I know, but you're talking about implementing, realizing transformation. But before we talk about that, let's talk about 2021. What was your big takeaway from 2021, apart from New Year's Eve? Bye.
Apart from the life lesson of do not mix liquor and beer. That's your number one life lesson. Do not mix.
Yes.
But no, seriously, I think over the course of 2021, and there were different phases of 2021. The first quarter, maybe probably the first 2 quarters felt a certain way, and we thought we were on the path to things getting better. And then the summer, there was a couple months of optimism and we're out of the woods and let's book meetings and book trips. And then we come back to the fall and to the winter to maybe even the worst numbers that we've seen since the very beginning. So I can't say that all of 2021 presented itself in the same way, but for me, the biggest takeaway was that search for answers, that search for improvement, that executives and boards felt humbled. I think they recognized that they were out of their depth in so many areas, and they were willing to ask, they were willing to reassess, they were willing to consider that the way they had done things wasn't going to work. We knew that was that conversation had begun in 2020, but then really drilling down. I mean, I did more organizational assessments in 2021 than I've done my entire career. Because people were ready to drill down and decide what wasn't working and what new path they needed to put themselves on. And it's way beyond, do we put our event online or we keep it in person? I mean, that's the surface. That's beyond that. I'm so tired of talking about the virtualization of events. That's a tactical. I'm talking about the strategic presence, the strategic perspective and direction of an organization. And I think those things were really chewed on in 2021. In 2020, it was, do we wear masks? Do we put our meeting online? Do we send staff home? Those were the surface level tactical management decisions. 2021 to me became the opportunity for people to really drill down to the strategic level.
And I think, and it's interesting because, that links to the Futures Literacy podcast we recorded back in I think it was late summer. I know it was episode 43. I know that one because it was one of the most popular ones we recorded last
I was
year.
looking back at some of that research we had done in advance of that and thinking we needed to, I don't know, is there a certification in futures literacy? It's something I might want to study more.
If there's not, there's going to be shortly. Copyright.
Oh, are you creating one right now?
Copyright console strategy, trademark, Brand Solutions. But I think because I think what I saw, or what and I don't even know if I saw it, but I felt as we came out of the summer last year, end of August, in September, October, we were going into the autumn. The fall. I really felt that people have now, you're right. In 2020, it was all about some of it was knee-jerk reaction. Some of it was, got to adapt to survive, got to just get through. Then a year on, we weren't doing that. We weren't needing to understand how to adapt to survive. I think we've suddenly, I feel like there's been a mind, the mindset has changed, which is directly linked to futures literacy. Because if you remember when we spoke about that last year in the pod.
I'm hungover. I can't. Don't ask me.
Sorry. Well, I'll tell you. I'll remind you. Basically, what we were talking about is to say that often we're hamstrung by our what we perceive to be the security of our future. We plan based around what we think is going to happen. But once we rid ourselves of those shackles, and we accept that actually, this is, when nobody's talking about new normal anymore, because this is just what it is. This is just working, and I think it really, I'm beginning to see people, they maybe not using the language of futures literacy, but they're certainly behaving that way now, which is an acceptance. Actually, the only certainty is uncertainty. So let's not worry about the nuts and bolts. Let's start being pioneering, visionaries, etc., etc. And I'm really getting a sense of that. And that was my biggest takeaway, certainly from the second half of 2021. And it's certainly where I'm starting 2022. That's kind of my starting point for feeling excited about this year.
Well, I love that, not presuming we know what the future is going to look like. I mean, we've already agreed just in this conversation not to make predictions because they're crap.
Yeah, not doing it.
But, I think back to how you and I came to be, and that was all about an article I wrote called Don't Pivot, stop.
That's right.
And I think about so many organizations, even those that I'm working with, whose approach to surviving all this disruption was simply to wait it out.
Yeah.
And, I think about those who, quote unquote, pivoted, still my least favorite COVID pandemic word. All they've done is pivot so many times that they've now gone in a circle and they find themselves back where they started.
Yeah.
Organizations that decided to simply wait things out, thinking that time alone would make the situation better.
Yeah.
We can see now that time alone hasn't. It's made it worse. There are variants. There are circumstances that will continue to evolve in that disruption and in that negative impact. I have clients that we signed up in summer of 2020, and they've been waiting and waiting and waiting, wanting to see, wait things out and wait for things to get better. And here we are with the worst numbers that we've seen, and we're having to go back to where we started. So I hate it when people are just looking at the clock and waiting to make it through. That's not a strategy. That's not a leadership approach.
No,
that is unfair to your organization and to your membership.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be an option for 2022. Which is
what it's like we've almost rehearsed this, but please, listener, be assured we never rehearse. We just roll with it.
We don't, believe me. If you think this is rehearsed, oh God.
God, imagine what we'd look like if we had a script. But that does lead me on to then what I am excited about 2022 about, which is, as I said, I am chomping at the bit to see transformation begin to materialize in 22. And I think because people are starting to shift away from, they are starting to shift away from that. We're just going to wait and see. We're going to wait it out. Now we know we can't wait this out. And there's no waiting out something that's going to go on and on and on. And it is, that's the bottom line. This is just what it is. This is the world we work in. This is the world we live in. And so now I'm really now starting to see more and more chat around technology, and how, and I'm not talking about Zoom. I'm not talking about how people are going to embrace Zoom calls or Microsoft Teams or whatever else. It's not that. But what I am seeing is how people now are starting to think, right, well, actually, this is the world that we're adapted now. So now we've adapted. How are we going to evolve from that position? And it's all about people are now really starting to get to grips with, at the very least, getting to grips with, well, we've got to know what artificial intelligence is. I've got to know what machine learning is. I've got to understand what extended reality looks like. And we've already started seeing some organizations, some associations adopting, things like augmented reality. And we've seen it, I would argue at a basic level, we've seen it on the kind of online meetings that we've seen the last couple of years. But what excites me is that I'm starting to see boards talking about it. I'm starting to
Mhm.
see boards being engaged by their chief executives and their leadership teams, and engaging their chief executives and leadership teams and saying, look, this isn't a trend now. This is just something that is happening.
Right. This is not an option.
No, any more than having a website or a Twitter account or whatever is an option. It's not. We just have to do it. And I'm starting to really get a sense that people want to get to grips with it. They want to spend 22. I'm not saying we're going to see massive inroads in terms of output in 22, but I think we are going to start seeing some massive inroads in people's understanding about what technological opportunities are available to them, how it could apply to their organizations and their associations. I'm starting to see more directors appreciate that the worlds in which they work in on a day-to-day basis are, the trends and the issues and the challenges and the opportunities that are impacting their businesses or their professions or their industries are equally applicable to the association world in which they volunteer to lead. And I've been talking about it for ages, and I'm really pleased to start to see that.
You're right. You were the first.
I'm going to say, actually, I think I was probably the catalyst. There you go.
Did you invent the internet? Did you invent the internet too? Are you a crypto guy?
I keep it in a box under my desk, actually. The internet. Yeah, I do.
But seriously, I think you're right in that there are so many important, exciting tech-focused topics that I know we want to take on in 2022, and
yes.
that we feel not only the obligation, but the opportunity to dissect on behalf of association leaders and make some things more palatable and safe by tackling them in the way that we, Association Transformation, tackle topics and invite guests. So I think you're right. Our schedule for the year will be pretty powerful with some of those tech topics, but I will try to be the counterbalance to that in that these tech pieces are all tools. And I'm hoping that we can maintain a focus on the member experience and what that value that we are trying to deliver through whatever the tech channel and platform and integration and whatever. It always has to come back to the member and what they want. We want them to feel, what we want them to get in terms of value or resource or network. We can't run off into a tech-driven world. The tech has to be a means to a member-driven end.
Oh, absolutely. And actually, one of the early conversations I want to talk about is I've been reading loads recently about attention economics. And I think that's something that, and again, we might not be using that language, but we do recognize in the association where it is increasingly competitive on a global scale now for us. Many membership bodies are working internationally. It's been demonstrated that they can reach out and connect globally with members or potential members. And within the context of that competitive environment, we are all of us trying to battle through the white noise to try and capture members' attention, and I think, and again, you're right, the tech is all tools. It is all tools, absolutely. But they're tools, but they're also, I think, a lot of the cause as well for some of these issues. Attention economics, massive. And if we understand better what it is, then always we can then begin to mold or create responses, more appropriate responses to the opportunity or the challenge.
And this rapidly changing environment, I think back to our conversation with Bob Cortlett and an executive transition. And I know of a handful of executives who have scheduled their retirement for 2022. They saw their organizations through what they had hoped was the worst of COVID, and now are ready to step away. And I'm sure many execs at the end of their career would probably admit that this shift, this rapid adoption, this tech transformation is pushing them out as well. They don't want to have to learn new. They don't want to have to adapt and adopt. And I'm interested to see what this new generation of association executive looks like, what they have the appetite for. I mean, I consider myself, I'm a Gen Xer on the fringe of millennial, and I like to think of myself in that bridge generation between, the older and the new. And I'm excited to see what that new generation of association executive brings to the table, and their appetite for all of this, how well versed they are and well spoken in some of these technologies, while still respecting the legacy systems and what those longtime members want. I mean, we talk to boards all the time, and they want new. They say they want new. Let's be honest. They say they want new, and then they start to remind you of all the people they have to keep happy, all the former members and past presidents and legacy members that they have to keep happy. And it's never easy ushering in the new or the different. So there's going to be, maybe that's what 2022 is about, is finally bringing all this change to fruition. That 2022 is when it arrives. 2022 is when it's implemented.
Yeah.
2020 was recognizing it was necessary. Yeah. 2021 was thinking it through and figuring out direction. And now 2022 is bringing it to life.
Getting it done.
So we'll see what all that looks like. I don't know. All this talk makes me want to go see the new Matrix movie. Have you seen it yet?
No, and I'm not going to.
Are you not a Matrix guy?
I tried watching the first one again the other day, and it's like, 20 years since I watched it.
It's slow.
And I was just like, what is this about? This is so boring. Then I remembered I'd go into the pictures to see, the movies. Go into the cinema.
Yeah, use your American, please.
Yeah, sorry. Speak my second language. I go into the cinema, and I remember going to the cinema in New Zealand to see it, and I don't know why. I don't even know why I went, and it was so boring then, and it's so boring now. So no, I haven't seen that.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I wasn't expecting.
No,
you're going to start getting some hate mail from our Belgian fans who love The Matrix.
Well, sorry, Belgian.
I'd be careful speaking so ill of such a renowned franchise.
Can I just say, while we're talking movies, Encanto, is that what it's called? That was awful.
My son and I, my 10-year-old son and I went to see it. It was actually our first movie in the theater in 18 months. And, he's a 10-year-old boy. He wants to YouTube basketball videos and watch Star Wars. And
yes,
it was not, I thought that maybe if he was like a 13-year-old girl, he might've appreciated it more. It was definitely a finding yourself coming of age type movie.
Well, I can tell you now, a 4-year-old girl didn't enjoy it, and a 43-year-old bloke didn't enjoy it. And and neither did my mom and dad. Oh, it was awful. Anyway, there you go. My recommendation.
The music didn't hit me either. The music did not hit me.
Please do not sue us, Pixar or Disney, please. We're just expressing none of the opinions here are belonging to anybody except myself.
Maybe this is what we should do at the end of Association Transformation episodes from now on, is we should add in a little movie review.
That's not a bad idea, actually. Give me a reason to go to the movie.
To let us loosen up a little bit, to let us come out of our shells.
Yeah, because we're so stiff and natural on here. You're right.
But we do need to get ourselves together, because our next our 50th episode, 50th episode coming up next. We have a very special guest, and he's legitimate, serious. So I'd like you to bring your A game. We're going to talk about the power of storytelling, and to advance leadership, to advance nonprofit mission. And he is a world-renowned storytelling expert and coach. So David Hutchins, I'm really excited to have him on for our 50th episode. He's a contact and friend of mine, so don't mess this up, Andrew.
Honestly, I wouldn't dream of it. I mean, I wouldn't. I don't know why you're so mean to me. Can we just say 2022, you're not going to be mean to me?
Oh, but then what am I going to talk about?
No, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. I am.
You're right. Let's leave the incivility in 2021. Let's come to 2022 out of camaraderie and friendship and partnership. I'm okay. I'll try to be better.
She says, after suggesting we don't ever meet each other face to face.
Yeah, but that was 2021 speaking. This is now 2022 of peace, love, and associations.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to 2022 hugely.
Yeah, good topics,
Yep.
good guests, and a good co-host. Thanks for 49 great episodes, my friend.
Knocked it out of the park. Likewise, right back at you, Cleopatra.
All right. Until next time, Association Transformation can still be found where you find all your favorite podcasts. So make us one of your favorites, download some of those old episodes, and be sure to email us or tweet us if you have any ideas for topics in 2022. Why do I keep saying that? 2022. Yeah. It sounds so weird coming off the tongue still.
Why? It's better than when people say 2022. It drives me nuts.
Can we just say 22?
22. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, email us at hello@yourconsort.com or tweet us at Association Transformation. Let us know what you want us to tackle. We're happy to dive in the deep end for you or with you if you'd like to be a guest. So enjoy your new year. Happy January 3rd. And I'll sleep this off and we'll get back together here in a couple weeks. So until next time, stay well, stay healthy, and put your members and your mission first.